The final bell for the school year rings. A deep breath and a smile as visions of all the possibilities of summer float to mind. Sleeping in, a free schedule, picnics and pools, late night and fireflies. Ah, summer. This is the Measured Words Podcast, episode number 27, and I'm your host, S.J. Baldridge. Today, we will be discussing making those beautiful visions become a reality this summer. School's out. Now what? For parents. Because let's face it, if we don't make some sort of loose plan, we could arrive at August with a list of regrets tucked in with that back-to-school supply list. We are going to introduce 3 scriptures to help us with our plan for school's out, now what? Thanks for joining me. Our first scripture is Luke 2:52, and it's going to be the anchor for both of these episodes, but this first one's for parents. The second one will be for our students. So Luke 2:52, and Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. Our first scripture is an excellent guide for what life as a youngster should be. Growing in wisdom. We'll tackle that one first. Growing in wisdom. Let's learn new things. Now, let's not be militant about this and create a school day type structure to our day, complete with worksheets and formal exams. That's not the type of growing in wisdom I had in mind. Let's talk with our children and discuss what we want to learn. I am currently working on learning Spanish, learning more about plants and herbal remedies, and I'm still very much learning guitar, like the very basics, even after a year. What do our children need to learn? Let's make a list of those after that final bell of the year. And let's try to work in things to our schedule that will help accomplish this. Whether it's learning to throw the football better, whether it's learning about plants and growing a garden, what is it that our children want to learn? And one of those, something from our list, is probably going to guide us to things we don't have. And we might turn straight to our computer, but another great resource to help us with learning would be to the library. The library programs are fantastic for the summer, and it's a wonderful air-conditioned place that we can go with our children to help them foster the love of reading. So, of course, I'm going to put in a plug for reading here. Reading a book together as a family can be so special. When reading is a family adventure rather than a chore a child is sent off to complete alone, the attitude about reading changes drastically. Now, before someone argues that they don't have time to read with their children or read as a family, please consider that books can be read on the way to games. They can be read in the backyard. They can be read at a picnic at a park. I think I've made my point. We can make time to read as a family if we would choose to do that. I'm also going to make a little side note from the English teacher in me. I do enjoy audiobooks. And I would recommend that might be a solution. You're listening together as a family. However, take a moment to consider that what is our goal? If our goal is to find out about the story together, that's completely fine. Then an audiobook works perfectly. However, if we are in families where we want to avoid the summer slide in reading and keep our kiddos reading at level or above, we might consider with an audiobook just having the actual physical copy in Kindle or in paper copy so that our child is actually learning to read better. If we are just enjoying an audiobook without the eye to paper, eye to word action, we're improving our listening ability. We are not improving our reading comprehension ability or our reading skill. So please consider that as far as the reading goes. So I really hope that some might consider that that's something they want to work into their summer schedule. Back to Luke 2:52. And Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. Wisdom, health, and favor with God and man. Priorities and politeness. Conversations. So, I think all of these are important. Wisdom, we already discussed. Health, let's get them out there on sports teams. Let's get them swimming. What a great exercise. Running, walking, being outdoors and not on a couch over the summer. Huge. So Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. The stature also involves healthy choices. So we need to make sure to prioritize with our children that health. So a little bit less of the flavored drinks and more of the water, a little bit less of the junk food and more of the nutritional food, but that would be the stature part. And then favor with God and man, which leads us to verse number 2. Micah 6:8. He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. What a verse that just sums up that our summer doesn't have to be filled with umpteen rules. That's not what I'm talking about. It's just being purposeful, being mindful in our choices. And God requires us just to act justly, to love mercy, and walk humbly with our God all summer long. Outside, walking, enjoying all the trails and the paths that we can. And finally, verse 3, I'm going to tie into everything. Finally, let's have this is a unique verse from the Old Testament that will apply to our calendars. And actually, this is the verse that inspired this entire episode. School's out. Now what? So, the verse is from Daniel chapter 1, verse 8. And we're only going to do 3 little words from this verse. But Daniel resolved. Now, to provide you a little bit of background, Daniel you could read that could be your first family adventure, is read the first chapter of Daniel. He was one of the exiles and now he's in Babylon and he is adjusting to life there. And the opportunities are going to be different. The requirements are obviously going to be different. And Daniel resolved. He determined. He decided beforehand. This is the model or example that Daniel provides, and we're going to try to apply it to our summer. What do we need to resolve to do and to not do this summer? I've already mentioned if your child is still working on reading skills and improving reading skills, which we all are, and we want to avoid the summer slide, we are going to resolve to maybe set a goal with our child that as a family, we're going to read 1 book a month. As what would your child need to do? And we want that goal to be high enough that it's challenging, but not overwhelming. So consider that. That could be one thing we resolve to do. Make a commitment to visit the library once a week. or once a month, whatever would work into your family the best. Once, when I was teaching high school, I overheard a conversation some juniors were having early in the month of April. They were, as you might expect, starting to talk about summer plans. Then I heard a comment that I still think is so sad. A teenager said, "I'm not looking forward to summer. I'm going to be so busy." These students were lamenting over the fact that their calendar was so full with camps and activity that they didn't have a lot of freedom. Daniel resolved, in these early days of summer, can we get out the calendar and do some serious family reflection? What needs to be there? What doesn't need to be there? What are our family's top priorities? Let us not mindlessly give our families time and talents and well-being over to the couch and the television set, over to technology and their iPads, over to a coach that we don't even know or a sport that our child doesn't enjoy anymore. Let us be mindful and resolve to grow in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man this summer. Can we do that with our sports teams? Certainly. And we can have a great time. Can we do that in our sports teams? Can we grow in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man? Certainly. Let's keep priorities. Partly, I'm thinking back to the pressure that even existed decades ago when we had a battle in our home over our daughter's concern of the ramifications and the retribution for missing weights 2 mornings when we were traveling out of town for a family wedding. Seriously, she was concerned that she couldn't miss 2 morning sessions of weights for a family wedding. We went to the wedding. The consequences are long forgotten, but the memories of the wedding are precious and priceless. Parents, let's resolve to prioritize. So we're going to recap our 3 verses that can help us ease into our schools out. Now what? Luke 2:52. And Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. Micah 6:8. He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. And Daniel 1:8. But Daniel resolved. Let us take a lesson from Scripture. Let us open our Bibles and look into these verses and see what they really are saying about what our summer should look like. Let us prayerfully and mindfully set those schedules, and let's set them loosely in pencil so that they have freedom for us to walk with our God. The final bell for the school year rings. A deep breath and a smile as visions of all the possibilities of summer float to mind. Sleeping in, a free schedule, picnics and pools, late nights and fireflies, and whatever else we resolve to do as we try to grow in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. Summer. I'm S.J. Baldridge. I'm so glad you joined me. I value your time and your feedback. Please recommend the Measured Words podcast to your friends. School's out. Now what? Part 1 is complete. Tune in next time for School's Out, Part 2. And in the future, fishing. To God be the glory, great things He hath done.